You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Hashem Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearson VUE, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Hashem Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Hashem Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@hashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investments by checking out our promotional offers here. offers.hashem.com/ms learning. You can call 0704-636-7151 or call 0704-576-9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ibikunle Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.
Hello, I'm David Okeode, Principal Instructor at Kavis Cloud, 4 times Microsoft MVP and author of multiple books on cloud security. I would like to speak with you about our courses at Kavis Cloud. First, we are cloud security focused. We maintain an unbiased stance towards vendors, and we cut through all the typical marketing jargon in many trainings out there. We help you to understand things as they really are. The second thing that's unique about our courses is that we are multi-cloud focused. Our multi-cloud security courses covers the top 3 public cloud platforms out there: AWS, Azure, and GCP. Our instructors are not just trainers, they are seasoned professionals with real-world experience. The third reason is that our training modules are designed to provide practical hands-on experience. Our courses are packed full of hands-on labs that you find engaging and interesting. And finally, our prices are the best out there. I encourage you to check out our upcoming courses on our website and also testimonials from our students. See you soon at www.kaviscloud.com.
For over 7 years, Macintosh Consulting has been empowering individuals, organizations, and government parastatals in information technology, business management, leadership development, and finance. Through our end-to-end training services, we help our clients achieve notable landmarks with our long-standing valued affiliate relationships with Microsoft, EC Council, CompTIA, PECB, Cisco, and AWS. Macintosh Consulting offers training and certifications in diverse areas like Network Plus, cybersecurity, cloud computing, project management, Agile Scrum, soft skills, amongst many others, with guaranteed to run classes, virtual classes, on-site classes, online classes, and customized classes. Macintosh Consulting enhances career development, promotes relevance, and ensures quality delivery. Macintosh Consulting is located in Nigeria, Kenya, and United Kingdom. Visit www.macintosh.com or call 090-381-38550 or 081-409-84158. You can also visit us at 24 Bamachili Street off Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos.
Welcome to the Pride of Symbols, a people driven by the passion for excellence and the courage to take on big challenges and see them through. With integrity of mind and systems, our words, structures, and processes are always dependable. We are proud of who we are, what we do, and what we stand for. Firm is our commitment to the vision to build a globally recognized distribution company and to become the key driver of trade revolution across Africa. We have been empowered to make products and services accessible, affordable, and usable across Africa by building an efficient distribution network, and to remain the market benchmark for dynamism, efficiency, and competitiveness. We are rulers. We provide order. With confidence, enthusiasm, and wit we speak. The vulnerable and voiceless we empower. This is me. This is TD Africa. We rule. We conquer. We are Simba.
Digitization simplifies the way we collect data. Organizations collect data from multiple touchpoints to enable them to make effective, profitable, data-driven decisions. Yet, a lot of data just sits there. Why? Well, organizations operate two systems: operational or transaction systems and analytic systems. Operational systems are data repository, where you execute business
Hello, welcome once again to the Global Azure Bootcamp, which is a series of walkthrough out of various concepts in Azure across the world, which is running about 6 continents now, and is going to run between 10th to some few other days, 3 other days within this week. What is the vision behind it? Is a way by which people will come together to build um, capability across the AI and ensure that the Azure environments and the Azure product and the Azure cloud platform will be properly um, um, giving a way of educating the people, ensuring they understand what is happening and how it can be related to move across various deliverable and various walkthrough environments. So you're welcome to this year global Azure Bootcamp. Um, and I want to welcome everybody who has taken their time to be part of us. We'll be introducing our guests, our speakers, and the moderator, which will come up shortly. But before then, I just want to enlighten you about the Global Azure Bootcamp. Now, the Global Azure Bootcamp is generally a community-driven summit or bootcamp, which help us to see Azure in the context of its practice, in context of the product across several environments. It has started from the 8th, as I mentioned, to 10th. And we have it across several continents in the world, which including some part of West Africa, which we are today. Now, why do we come together as a community to talk about this? A lot of section goes on, and as a community, the driver here is to be able to enlighten people about Azure, which is Microsoft's own cloud environment. And that details us to see that several communities also running this since 8th of May. So we have over 96 community across which is the stimulation to almost all the productivity that we see across the world, especially the angelic environment. So all this is what we want to look at today, and that's what we're going to treat across the world. And this is what we are trying to build within this our own community. So, as I said, I'll be introducing the speakers, and I'll be relating that to us to be able to build. I don't know whether, Franca, are you in the studio? Because I can see you on video. Hello, Franca. Are you in the? Okay, yeah, she's in the studio now. She's our moderator for today. Franca, we cannot hear you. Can you hear us? Can you check?
Hello. Hello. Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you can take it up. I was talking of Azure Global AI Bootcamp before you came on, and I was just highlighting people that the essence of the Global AI Bootcamp is to build an environment, an ecosystem where across the world that will talk about Azure. And it has started since May 8th, and we are having our own in our community today. And over the 3 days, we have been able to capture 500 speakers across the world, and it has been done within 6 continents, and over 600 sections have been taken. So, what do you think about Azure Bootcamp in your own view? Before I go off.
Yeah, Azure Bootcamp, great, great. It's a global
Mm,
event happening in
happening
so
in
many
so many
countries.
countries.
Yeah, yesterday I watched the it. It started actually on the 8th, yeah, and it's been on, um, yeah, for 2 days now. Yeah, this is the third day, and it's been a great event. Yeah, it's a global event, and yeah, the speakers will be introducing them soon. Yeah,
Mm.
okay.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
what are the highlights should we be expecting from our own bootcamp today? Before we show our agenda, what do you think the viewer should look out for, and they should pay attention to?
Okay. I'll just go through. Yes, I'll go through that. Today, we're looking at some topics, from data silos to unified insights, integrating Azure Data Factory with Power BI and Fabric.
Wow.
Yeah. And we also
Okay.
have how AI is transforming cloud security.
Wow. Okay.
Then we have creating reactive inventory agents using Azure AI Foundry. Yeah, so
Wow.
these are the very
Okay.
interesting
Those
topics that we're looking at.
that we are going to look at. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll, since I'm in control of the of the slide, so let me just push the agenda so that we can just see what Franca just mentioned. Now, this is what we are going to look out for today. That we are looking at introduction to global, which we are already doing that now, how AI is transforming cloud security. But we are not sure. I don't know whether Wale is available because Wale is calling in from US, and we know the time zone. We just He's not in the studio yet, but I'll still try to look out for him. But meanwhile, we have the other speaker. I think Tosin is from UK. Is already in the studio. Out from data silo to unify insight, integrating Azure data. Maybe we are going to bring that first. If Tosin is already in the studio to come and take that. Then the last section we're going to have today is creating reactive inventory agent using Azure AI Foundry, and that means looking at the agent aspect of Azure. Then we close by having question and answer. So let's just look at each of our speakers and try to look at their biography in order to have a better understanding of them. As we said, Wale is a multi-cloud consultant, and he specializes more on the several aspects of cloud deliveries rather channel, and is currently one of the group vice president of Reliance Infosystem. So he's a certified master and expert in digital and AI transformation, and his adaptation of cloud technology does not relate only to one specific cloud.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Okay, sorry.
Okay, okay, you're back.
My back, my shared screen should be back too. So sorry for that. Wale is going to take us more from his various understanding of cloud. I know we are talking of Azure Bootcamp. How do we relate this to the cloud offering? How can small firm, big firm, enterprise environment build on this capability? Then our next speaker is Tosin Ojo. Tosin Ojo is from the data space, which has proven several track record in growing data in terms of engineering and governance. And he has use several tools, especially Power BI and Python, if you talk of data science, and also it also does things on Azure. So it's passionate about organization scalability, increasing their sky, their size, ensuring we have efficient data system, and is a speaker and he like doing strategic thinking and is committed to data as a professional and as a build up a team builder. Our next speaker, which is myself, I'm independent consultant and I also help company in their transformation journey. And my specific area is to look at the area of transformation within the West African and African sector. However, I'll be also speaking with a data engineer because what we're going to talk about is how to create an inventory solution. And that inventory solution is built on our agelic solution on Foundry. So we're going to see the data aspect, how we can um, we can build it and ensure that this help us to build the solution, the agent, and create that connection between data and the solution. So Tubosun, which is going to be speaking with me, joining me in the future, is a volatile technology professional. He's also an educator. He's a career counselor. He graduated from University of Awolowo. He has several skills in Power BI and Fabric. So he'll be collaborating with me on this talk. Franca, I think that's all from the introduction. What do you feel about the lineup?
Oh, the lineup is awesome. It's going to be a great session. So please don't go anywhere. Yeah, stay put.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, so we start off by I know Tosin is available. I don't know where Wale is on the studio yet. Uh, so while we wait for Wale, I think Ojo can take the stage. Tosin, can we see on video so that we can leave the stage? And for you to share your screen, you see there is some button in the restream. You see a share button. You just click on share. You can share your PowerPoint from there.
All right.
Yeah, okay. So we leave Tosin to start. Once he has um once he share his screen, we just leave him to take this first talk because it's already 10:30.
Yeah. So, move this.
We are just waiting for Tosin to share his screen. The button is after you see
After the video,
the
the
microphone,
camera.
and you see the camera. Then immediately after the camera is the share screen. Once you click it, it will ask you to share where your PowerPoint presentation is.
I think I'm sharing now. So
Okay, great. Yeah, I've seen it from the studio. Yeah, you are up now. So we will just go out and allow you to take the stage. Thank you, Tosin.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm super excited to be here today. And okay, Olawale is here, so I don't know. So I will just take my brief introduction, and maybe if it's possible, I might go back so that Olawale might go first, and so that we're able to put some things together for my slide properly. Okay, so today I'm very excited and I'm super. I appreciate this opportunity to be with everybody here today. My name is Tosin Ojo and I'm an analytics engineer. I have over 7 years experience working in the data space and it has been an awesome journey. From day one, data has been my forte. So basically, we've been back and forth. I've been within data space. So I've worked as data analyst. I move on to data engineer, and I would say I've had a bit stint into data science. So I would say I've had a bit of idea about almost everything around data and data operations. Basically, how using data in everyday life, right? In everyday business settings. So how the businesses make sense of data. I've worked in that space, and I think this is I appreciate this opportunity to be introducing this to us here today. So briefly, I'll be talking about from data silos to unified insights, integrating Azure Data Factory with Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. So briefly, that's what I'll be talking about. I understand that businesses have stored data in different ways, in different formats, in fact, in different locations. Imagine a business having having their data set up in different sources. Some are sitting on the computer of one of the staff member, and this way it doesn't make it it makes it almost impossible or makes it difficult for business to collaborate on use of data. So some data are sitting in silo in an Excel in Excel format in someone's desk. Some is sitting in CSV, just very scattered data sets somewhere differently.
Okay.
But um, we need for you to have an insight into data, right? We need to pick from different data sources. We need to plug into different data sources, and for us to be able to even plug into all these data sources, you need to have an harmonized system such that you are more like a what we call data bank, such that your data is in an environment where it can be easily accessible to everyone. Okay, so I think
Uh,
hello, if you can hear me. So can I? Do you want me to come down for? Anytime wants me to come
no,
down
no.
for Olawale,
I think you
I think that.
I think you can. Wale, can you come on video? Are you ready, or should Tosin continue? Because of your time zone, you know you are.
Actually, I want to put some things together. So if Olawale can come up, it will be.
Okay, Wale, please, you can come up.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I hope I'm audible.
So
Can you hear me
to
clearly?
share your screen, you see a button beneath the after the mic, you see a camera. After the camera, you see like a share screen. So you can share your screen so that I can push it up on the platform, and we can leave
Okay,
you to
so
be on stage. Yeah.
absolutely. Just let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay, I think you are just added now. I've added your screen. So you are in. So we will go off. Me and Ojo will be off. We allow you to take the stage.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Shi
Okay.
and Tosin Ojo. Um, Good day, everyone. It's a privilege to be here with you guys, sharing a bit of my experience and some insights into how AI is transforming cloud security. All right. Oh, Today we're talking about Microsoft Azure, right, and how that there's an emergence of the new kid on the block, which is artificial intelligence. Um, Many times we still, in this current age and time, people still think that artificial intelligence is a buzzword, right? But it has gone beyond being a buzzword into actually coming to stay. And I'll just share a bit of background as to how that this technology is shaping how things happen in cloud space, and not just cloud space alone, but the security of it, and to also demystify some of the concepts. There have been debates, what is good for us, what is not good. Is AI here to stay? Are we losing jobs? Are we not losing jobs and stuff like that, right? So I'll just run through those concepts in a bit. My name is Olawale Olajide. Once again, I work with Reliance Infosystems as the Group Vice President for Cloud Transformation, Modern Work, and Security, right? I'll just be sharing a bit of my experience. I'm not I'm not an island of knowledge or a body of knowledge, but I'm one who knows little and likes to share the little he knows. Right. So how we're going to run through a couple of items, right? Just overview of cloud security, understanding what Security Copilot is, being Microsoft Copilot for security arm, and how it helps, right? AI-driven threat detection and response, enhancing cloud security and machine learning, then future trends in AI and cloud security. Right. So I'm not going to bore us with what cloud security is or what is not, right? But there are three major things that are important when you're considering cloud security. Every organization who owns a digital estate, wants to ensure that its digital estate is properly protected, right? So making sure that sensitive data are being safeguarded, your infrastructure is properly secured under lock and key. People who shouldn't have access don't have access. Those who should have access, and your traffic traversal, across cloud hybrid scenario, how customers or users access data, and how you ensure that no one is accessing beyond what they're supposed to access, right? And you also want to ensure that you maintain compliance, right? The the cloud brings in that robust compliance mechanism. If you have to go through, um, for anyone who has gone through different compliance certifications on premises, you know how difficult it is to um, to be compliant with just ISO 27001. It's a whole lot, right, that you have to put in place. But the cloud brings this on a platter of gold. But because the cloud is compliant, does not make your own environment compliant. So you need to ensure that you configure your environment with the right um, governance and compliance policies, right, as it pertains to your business, right, and you are meeting regulations of the bodies that you're working with, be it health sector, fintech, financial services, manufacturing industry, health tech, and whatnot, right, and ensure that you reduce legal risk. And the third arm is to safeguard against cyber threats. Threat actors are lurking everywhere. You have deep fake, rampant now. You have different malicious attacks that could hit any organization. And once that hits, it cripples your business, and it stains your identity as a business. It means your integrity as a business is at stake. And as a result, you may lose customers, or you will lose customers. And once that happens, then you're out of business, right? So you need to implement effective cloud security safeguards for your organization, right, to protect against cyber threats, attacks, and you need to ensure that you preserve your customer trust and business integrity, because that's the hallmark of security. And it's amazing that in when organizations are coming up with budgets, right, what goes into security is the least. We spend a whole lot, buying and investing in different solutions and tools, and you find out that the security budget is very lean, and that's where we make the mistake. So imagine you buying a Rolls Royce, and then you don't have a fence, you don't have a gate, and God help you, you're in an environment where security is a problem, right? So you've just wasted money because that Rolls Royce will be gone, and probably they'll kidnap you too, and and cut away your car, But this, in reality, this is what organizations do, where you spend a whole lot on on fancy tools, applications, spend money building applications, and then we ignore cloud security, or we ignore security as a whole, be it on premises or cloud, right? So security is something that everyone needs to pay attention to. Um, but having said that, for those who are in the cybersecurity domain, you would attest that it takes a lot to ensure that security practices are fully covered, from development standpoint to infrastructure safeguard, just-in-time access, and across all the touch points, even in identity, in threat detection and response and whatnot. It's a whole lot. And typically, we build what we call the SOC team, that's SOC team, to be able to attend to threat incidences and also be able to respond to those incidents in in a timely manner. Right. However, there are also three major traditional cloud security challenges. I just narrowed it down to three. There are more, or we could break this down into more points. But let's look at these three major challenges, right? Data breaches. Every now and then you hear about how that there is a data breach somewhere. So data breaches are a significant concern for organizations using cloud services. As unauthorized access can lead to sensitive information exposure. So meaning the first touch point in every sense of security is always the identity and how those identities are allowed access, right? Because once your credential is harvested, there's a problem. That's always the first touch point. I know you must have heard about what we call the zero trust framework, right? Meaning that you trust nothing. Everything has to be second guessed and fact checked. You have to check at multi-layer across all your data estate, across all your digital estates, from identity to the data layer to the infra layer to your email and all of that. So it's a 360 degree view. So data breaches is one of those concerns, right? Then there's also insufficient visibility. Organizations often struggle with insufficient visibility to their cloud environments, making it difficult to monitor and secure data effectively. So sometimes when you don't have a 360 degree view of your environment, you probably don't even understand your architecture, as a whole. Then it's a problem for you to be able to put the right gates, and measures to ensure that you are protected all around, right? And there are also misconfigured settings. In deploying cloud resources, right? There are frameworks you're supposed to follow to ensure that your resources are deployed in the right and appropriate manner. Okay, so if you have misconfigured cloud settings, it often leads to vulnerabilities. It puts organizations at risk of cyber threats and data loss, right? So as little as certain ports being opened, as little as opening access to all, inbound coming from internet, as little as you not having the right endpoint protection, as little as you not having something that checks that you have access on the go, just in time access. There are many things that you can put under the most misconfigured settings, right? And if all these three um, are prevalent or pervasive in your environment, then you don't really have a security, right, for your resources. So one of the things you need to always look at, when we're talking about the concept of cloud security, is what are the challenges we are trying to solve, right? But in addition to this particular
Oh,
one,
oh,
right,
failure.
there is.
He's failing it, yeah.
Hello? Oh, oh, I thought someone was saying something. All right, so in addition to those three categories of challenges I've mentioned, one other thing is the fact that security teams are overwhelmed, especially in enterprise space. In an SMB space, maybe it's not so much of a bother. You know, you're probably less than 100 users. Maybe 50, maybe 40. The threats are not really coming in that much, or they are coming in that much, but one, two, three, four member of the team can actually nip it in the bud. But I need you to picture a case of an enterprise organization where you have thousands of users, maybe between 5,000 and 10,000 users, spread across geographic locations, and look at how much threats they have to deal with, on the daily basis, right? So that's one other thing to consider in the challenges we're trying to solve. How that we're able to quickly respond, and cycle out of incidences. So emergence of AI in cloud security also has helped us achieve three things, or is helping us achieve three things. First is enhanced threat detection, right? So threat detection prior to now could be an Herculean task, right? In the sense that if you don't have the right solutions to help you do that, or you don't have the right integrations, there are some solutions that are too rigid, they can't integrate with third parties and all of that. And we know that in security, many times organizations try to um, infuse or integrate multiple solutions, right? So, and these solutions must be able to talk one to another, and they must be smart enough to be able to detect threats on the go. So AI enhances threat detection. Not that threat detection has not been in place, right? But it enhances it, and it helps in analyzing patterns and identifying anomalies, which indicates potential threats, right? So like Microsoft uses the word copilot, right? It's sitting beside you to assist you in getting things done faster. So not that that's what is doing all the job or will do all the job. And again, that's one of the things that speaks to how that we will continue to be relevant, as much as we are jumping on the train of these inventions and innovations, to learn how they work, such that we can complement one another. That at least in the now, I don't foresee absolute replacement of different cadres of use of artificial intelligence, right? And there's also the aspect of automated response, right? So AI help facilitates automated response to security incidents. It allows for quicker remediation and reducing the impact of potential breaches. So one of the greatest tools that we had back in time is a SIEM, right? Security information and event management system, right? So it helps you identify threats and all of those, then it catalogs them and whatnot. Then then a SOAR came on board, that security orchestration and automated response, so that you don't just detect incidences, you're also able to respond automatically, Now, all of those things are in place, but how quickly you're able to cycle out of incidences, then becomes a challenge. How to then correlate different attack patterns and whatnot is also a problem. So it becomes an Herculean task for the SOC team to be able to nip security issues in the bud. Then you have the third advantage that AI brings to the mix in terms of cloud security, which is improved decision making. So AI empowers improved decision making in security protocols by providing insights derived from all the analysis done, then enhance your overall security posture. So if you go ask those who work in security operations center or who work in security departments, in different enterprises, building a report is the most difficult. Yeah, it's not difficult to tackle threats, to tackle incidences and all of that. Yeah, we could scale through that, but building documentations that shows what happened, root cause analysis. This is what we did. This is what we did. This is what we did. This is what we did, and this is how we need this in the board, because there will be need for that. With regards to auditing, right? So let's look at Security Copilot, Microsoft Security Copilot, right? It's an AI-driven solution, right? Like I said, or like we always say, it's a co-pilot. You are the pilot, you are the captain, and this is just a first officer sitting beside you to ensure that your life is easier as a security engineer or security analyst, or whatnot, right? So it ensures that it provides you real-time assistance to, in terms of security, and ensuring that you are able to quickly cycle out of incidences. It also gives you enhanced visibility, right, into your cloud environment. Now, Security Copilot is not just what works with Azure and Azure environment alone. It's, I mentioned the concept of zero trust earlier, how that you need to consider all your data touch points, all your security touch points, and ensure that nothing is trusted, right? So you talk about your identity protection and governance, you talk about your email protection, you talk about device protection, you talk about data protection, you talk about the governance and compliance of your data, you talk about the data loss and data leakages prevention and whatnot. Now, all of those things that I've mentioned, when you stitch them together, right, Copilot works with all of those to ensure that it is getting and correlating data across all those touch points, right? So it's not just something that queries Azure alone. Yeah, it sits on Azure because it works based on compute, right? And the compute determines how faster and how much data you're able to analyze per time, right? So if you have a large enterprise, you can start with 2 or 3, but usually start with 1. And if you need more processing power, then you can increase the compute you need for Security Copilot, right? But the overall advantage is the fact that it helps you get things done, very quickly, and it can integrate with third-party tools, not just Microsoft native tool, not just Sentinel, right? It can integrate to Defender for Cloud, Defender for Endpoint, Defender for Office 365, your Intune, all the security touch points are well integrated into Copilot for security, right? And the fact that you can have proactive threat prevention is also something that is very key in terms of what Copilot for security brings on board. And the agent integration, how that you can build agents or leverage already integrated agents, to be able to correlate data. Even third parties like Palo Alto, like FortiGate, Checkpoint, and all of those things, you can integrate with them to be able to correlate data, right? And the beauty of this is the fact that if you're already integrated with Sentinel, if you already integrated your third-party solutions with Sentinel, it becomes easier to be able to fetch and analyze data with Copilot security. And you can build more agents to be able to function appropriately, right? So key features and capabilities: real-time monitoring, automated threat detection, and comprehensive reporting. The reporting side of things is something very big, in the sense that you can build your report neat and clean, in a few minutes, right? Based on the incidences that has happened within your environment, right? And the fact that if you have a multi-cloud environment, it's not a problem, or hybrid infrastructure, right? It integrates properly with anywhere you have your data seated, right? Provided that you have, um, of course, Copilot for security will not do the work of endpoint protection for you. It's only querying those security products to be able to then generate enough data to tell you, or these are the correlations I have. There's this attack here, there's this attack here. I noticed this in your endpoint protection. I noticed this in email protection. I noticed this in your infra protection. I noticed this here. Correlates them, and it's able to show you the trend, and then you can quickly nip that in the bud, right? As much as there's automated response in Sentinel, right? Copilot for security can help you drill down further, and manage your incidences intelligently, right? Uh, so one of the things I mentioned earlier is that there are 4 categories of people, when it comes to the use of artificial intelligence, especially in the security space, right? So we have those who we call the doomers, right? Those are uh, the ones who view AI as an existential threat that should be altered, right? No use of AI. AI cannot go anywhere. We can't use it. It's going to destroy humanity and all of those. Then we have the gloomers, right? These are individuals who believe AI will inevitably lead to job losses and human displacements, right? So uh, today there are people who feel no, that topic of AI, just junk it. We don't need it, and especially in security, so don't bring AI closer. We don't want to lose our jobs, right? Don't let it displace humans. Then we have the Zoomers. The Zoomers are those enthusiasts eager to accelerate AI development at full speed, right? Oh, we're jumping on it, right? And then we have the Bloomers. Those are the ones who cautiously they are cautiously optimistic, individuals who advocate for thoughtful progress, balancing innovation with risk management, right? So across all of this, where you really want to be is in the um, bloomer category. Yeah, as a zoomer, you must have done your research and all of that to say, okay, this tool is okay for us to use, and all of that, and you want to jump on it. There are developers who are already coding with AI by their side, helping with minor adjustments here and there, major adjustments here and there. All right. But there are some who will never go the route of AI. The truth is that it has come to stay, and you can choose to be a zoomer or a bloomer, right? But don't be in the category of the doomers or the gloomers, right? And Dario Amadeo said that he thinks we'll be there in 3 to 6 months where AI is writing 90% of the code. And then in 12 months, we'll be in a world where AI is writing essentially all the code, right? This was said in a security conference just last week, right? But of course, not in Africa, in Europe. But one of the things that we need to also be aware of is the fact that Africa is not taking the back seats when it comes to adoption of tools that artificial intelligence tools that helps, especially across the tech stack. Either you're a developer, either you're a cloud engineer or security architect or security engineer or SOC analyst and all of that. You need to look at how do you embrace these tools, to enhance what you do, right? Because in the long run, it's to your benefit that you're able to get things done faster, right? But again, you have to do it. For example, you can't. One of the advices that we give to people, and you find Microsoft sounding that to the heads of organization here and there, is the fact that you cannot deploy um, artificial intelligence without having proper security measures and also compliance measures. For example, if you're going to be deploying Copilot for M365, there are certain things you need to do, in terms of governance. There are certain um, access you need to ensure that you block. There are certain policies you just need to put in place to ensure that it doesn't go rogue or the users don't go rogue on you. So there are certain data that certain people shouldn't have access to, and you need to be able to cordon off that, in the process of setup. So what we're saying is that there's a call for us to responsibly use artificial intelligence, right? If we also move further, you find out that there's real time threat analysis, in terms of what Copilot can do for you, and proactive risk mitigation as well. In a case where you're not even you're not even sure of certain threats that you're seeing. Perhaps you're not that vast as a junior analyst, right? The Copilot is able to explain, even tell you what the type of threat and all of that means, and drill further into what you should be looking at, right? So it's very fantastic. I talked about automated response earlier, so I won't dwell too much on that. And there's predictive analytics, right? Historical data utilization. It predicts based on the historical data, right? It identifies patterns, trends, aiding in your threat assessments, right? Then there's also proactive security measure. So by forecasting potential threats based on your historical and current threat signals, right? You can implement proactive security measure before incidents also occur, right? Because there are suggestions that it will give you recommendations on what you need to do or what not, right? There's also enhanced security protocols, right? So predictive analytics enhances security protocols, allowing organizations to better protect their assets and information, right? So one of the things that is important is when we're talking about things like this, it's important to look at use cases, right? Use cases helps us drive home the points, and I'll just pick one of the use cases. There are many use cases, right? But we'll look at incident response and remediation, right? So as we said, that again, it's a first officer sitting beside the captain. You are the captain, and Copilot is the first officer, right? So security Copilot can support tier one or entry level or junior analysts in assessing and managing incidents with greater efficiency and effectiveness, right? You agree with me that in every team, right, you don't have all experts in all teams, right? So you probably have the entry level or tier one analyst or a junior analyst. Then you have maybe a mid and then a senior, then you have the manager and up to CISO and all of that, right? And across this, it means that if you have an entry level engineer mounting, the post of analysis, of threats, you have to also ensure that the person or the people are properly guided, right? So with Copilot, nothing slips to the crack, even if you have a support tier one or entry level analyst, mounting the gate at your organization, right? So the case study is that let's assume that you are a tier one analyst. An incident has been assigned to you by your team, by a team lead rather, and your job is to determine whether the incident is indeed malicious. If it is, to resolve it as soon as possible, right? So let's look at the first touch point, right? And this dashboard is Microsoft Defender dashboard. Like I said, security is not just Azure. It doesn't start and end with Azure, right? You, as an organization, as an enterprise, you have modern work tools. You have your laptops, or you have your AVDs, you have um, users scattered everywhere, across the globe. You have your applications, your databases, and stuff like that. And as a result of that, it means that you have different security touch points and different security products, right? So this is picking threat signal from Microsoft Defender XDR, right? So this is an incident in a queue, right, on Microsoft Defender XDR dashboard, right? You can see that there's high severity incident titled multi-usage incident involving initial access and lateral movement on multiple endpoints, reported by multiple sources. You can see there about 25 alerts from various Microsoft security solutions, not just the Microsoft Defender for XDR that is reporting this alone. There are 25 other alerts, that shows that there's a lateral movement, right? And it involves 3 devices, 4 users, and 1 email account, right? And then if you open the incident page, right, you can see the root cause analysis in the middle, right? You can see the heading multi-stage incident involving initial access and lateral movement, right? And once you open that, you can check the security copilot pane, which is on the right, right, of the attack story. Then it automatically just creates a summary of the incident, such that when you're trying to do root cause analysis and you're looking at these things, you have to be drilling down into each entities to be able to see what happened, how it has moved and all of those. But on here, you can see Copilot just giving a brief summary of the incident, along with steps that you can follow to respond to the incident, right? Now you can see this overview, copy these recommendations, right, to keep clipboard, right? Then one of the things you need to put in mind is that it is useful for the required report as it is already organized by the attack phase, and highlights important aspect of the attack, right? So I said earlier that building reports when incidents happen is very tedious, right? So without Security Copilot, you would have to develop a report from scratch. And this is not even the end of the report, this is just a summary, right? You would, by the time you're done investigating, you can build a more robust report using Copilot Security, right? So for this use case, you're probably interested in the suspected DC sync attack under the credential access activity, right? So what do you then do? You then go on Copilot, right? So you go on Copilot. This is the Copilot dashboard, right? You go on Copilot dashboard. Then you put in the prompts. What's a DC sync attack? Can you provide its TTPs, right? And then it goes on to tell you what DC sync attack is, and it explains what it is. An attacker mimics the behavior of a domain controller to replicate hash credentials from Active Directory, usually through Mimikatz or Empire, right? So it gives you that breakdown. And like I said earlier, as a junior analyst, you may not even understand some of these terminologies. So Copilot can break them down to you, explain them to you, and also point you in the direction that you should go, right? So knowing this, you return to Defender X0 and look at the suspected DC attack, more closely, right? Based on the findings, at least the explanation that Copilot has given you. You see that the user sent a replication request to a domain controller. You can then you ask the standalone security Copilot whether this is considered typical behavior, right? And then you put this is the prompt you put. There's something called prompt book on security copilot where there are some presets prompts that you can follow, and you can also just write in simple language what copilot can interpret, right? So the prompt is that: is it common for a regular user on a Windows 10 device to send a replication request to a DC? Okay, and you then get the response. It says no, it is not common, right? Then it gives you further explanation, right? Then with the response from security copilot, can confirm that this is a true security incident and needs further investigation either by a tier 2 team or somebody more senior, right? And the next security alert in the incident summary is a suspicious service creation event that is classified under persistence, right? Then you see that the same alert title was generated by Defender for Identity and Defender for Endpoints. Now, remember I said that your security touch points is not just one aspect of security. It's all full KIDA, right? So Defender for Identity is also reporting same. So you can check the alert and see what the service path listed is encoded, right? And then you go back to Copilot, right, to say, you know what, can you decode, then tell me more about this service part. You must have gotten the service part, as said in the earlier step. And then he goes on to tell you what all of this means, right? This is an environment variable that points to the command interpreter, which is typically cmd.exe on a Windows system, right? So it gives you step by step what had happened based on the script you have pasted on there for it to investigate, right? I don't think if you have to do this manually, you would have been able to scale through this, right? So Copilot identifies the encoded command as base 64 encoding and decodes it for you. It appears that the service path is used to run PowerShell script located in a certain directory, and it will tell you that this could be a sign of malicious activity, right? You can see that for someone who really doesn't understand what some of these things mean, there is that handshake, to explain and to point you in the right direction, on and on and on, right? And then as you gain more confidence that this is a true security incident, you can then go back to review the guided response in the security copilot pane in the incident page. There you determine which actions you need to take, and for you to mitigate the attacks, right? This is in a case where you don't want a false positive automated response, right? But ideally, from your SIEM and SOAR, maybe in this case Microsoft Sentinel, you're supposed to have configured automated response for certain cases. Now you can't configure automated response for all cases, because if you do that, if they are false positive, then you're able to then disrupt some things, right? But it depends on what your policies allows. It depends on how you have developed policies for responses to threats, and stuff like that. But if you have those automated presets, this also handshakes with Copilot security. But Copilot for security majorly, helps you each step of the way to analyze threats and to be able to build reports, for any incident that may have occurred, right? So using Security Copilot can provide several efficiency benefits to analysts, tasked to investigate and remediate large incidents, right? So imagine you having to deal with large incidents daily, and you need to really get to the bottom of those attacks. Even in cases where you have automatically responded to threats, you still need to build a report to say this happened at so time on so day, and we investigated this from the root cause analysis. This was what happened. The attack came in through this entity, through this user, or through this server, at this time from this location and stuff like that. Because those are the things that shows that the security measures that you've put in place are efficient enough, and that justifies the money that the management is probably paying for security, right? So let's look at I'm going to skip this, the future trends in AI and cloud security, right? Integrating AI-driven solutions can improve threat detection and response, making security strategies more robust, right? Don't wait till you are left behind on the train of artificial intelligence, especially in the area of security, like we're discussing today. Adopt it responsibly. Also grow into it, and you can test it out and see how it works, such that you can align your future strategies, with AI, right? So, in fact, if you look at the outlook of work generally and businesses, right, is becoming more agentic, than ever before, where there are agents everywhere working side by side, with employees at different gateposts of task, from HR to security to um, to infra to developers and all of that. So agents, artificial intelligence agents are here to stay to help reduce the burden and the monotonous activities that you need to carry out, right? Then it helps with comprehensive security strategy, right? So when you combine AI with existing tools, it creates a comprehensive security strategy, which addresses various vulnerabilities, and it does that effectively, right? So it's not a replacement, it's an enhancement, to what you already have. Okay. um there are statistics out there as to those who are leveraging AI in one way or the other, how that it is reducing the burden of the monotonous task or the day-to-day activities and stuff like that, just, and you'll be able to concentrate on um, more business focused activities, which then in turn yield profits. Okay, then you also have streamlined operations, right? So the synergy between tools can streamline security operations, which improves efficiency and also reduces your response time significantly, right? So one of the things I've always said is, if you can attain efficiency in any aspect of your technology stack, then you can be sure of productivity, and you can be sure of cost reduction. You can be sure of business improvements, and then you'll be able to strategize more on how to move the business forward, right? But there are potential challenges and ethical considerations, when it comes to the use of artificial intelligence, right? Data privacy is a significant concern with AI in cloud security, as sensitive information must be protected against unauthorized access. This is very, very important. Make sure that you are using it responsibly. You have guardrails to ensure that there are no data leakages, there are no data losses. The right people have right access. There's principle of least privilege being followed. You have a privilege identity management. You have the privilege access management and whatnot, right? And there's also the ethical implications, right? The deployment of AI raises ethical questions regarding accountability and potential for bias in security measures, right? So ethical implications is not exactly infinite, but these are things that we shouldn't take our eyes off as well, right? So as you're trying to adopt any security product, you may be combining different thought AI-enabled third-party tools with Microsoft tools, to combat, cyber threat and all of those. As you're adopting those tools and you're integrating them, make sure that you also look at the ethical implications. Then there's also the challenge of navigating the challenges that AI may pose, as a result of adoption. So organizations must navigate the challenges of AI thoughtfully, right? Um, you cannot rule out the place of policies, especially compliance policies, regulations and ethical standards. There are still policies that are in the works across the globe as to how it should be used, adopted, reeled out, and all of that. So we also, as individuals and as organizations, we need to also thoughtfully, navigate these challenges and ensure that we are not um, we're not drowning, in the usage of artificial intelligence. You have to use it responsibly and with the right policies in place. All right. So I think we'll be able to talk about how that enhances threat detection, stronger cyber defense, and the fact that if you don't jump on the use of AI, now you'll be left behind. In the unfolding of industrial revolution, some people didn't latch on to the first one. Some missed out on the second industrial revolution. Some missed out on the third. Some missed out on the fourth. You know, um, some are going to miss out on the AI, and that is going to be the difference between those who are ahead and those who are lagging behind. So don't be the gloomer or the doomer. Make sure that you're in the boomer um, space, right? Yeah, so I think that concludes my presentation with regards to Copilot for security and how that AI is changing the game, in the security space. I don't know if there are questions. I'll like to entertain questions now.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Lawale Olajide. That was very good. Awesome. Very insightful,
Thanks for having me,
actually.
man.
Yeah. Really enjoyed your topic, and we didn't want to stop you, actually. You were short your time, but we just let you keep going. It was very interesting.
Apologies. I
No,
could
but
be
that's fine.
passionate
That's
about this
fine. Yeah,
subject.
we're enjoying your topic, actually. Yeah, thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
So, do we have any questions? Question time. Yeah. Okay. I'll just because I was just writing and taking notes. Yeah. As we wait for the questions, um you could drop your questions if you have questions. Yeah. I took some notes. Uh, Mr. Olawale Olajide talked on how AI is transforming cloud security, the rise of security co-pilots. Yeah, he talks about the importance of cloud security. Yeah, I'll just give highlights. I don't want to start giving another presentation. Yes, protecting
Absolutely.
sensitive data. Yeah, and maintaining compliance. Yeah, and also safeguarding against cyber threats. So these are the importance of cloud security. They also talked about traditional cloud security challenges. He talked about data breaches and insufficient visibility. Yeah, remember I'm giving highlights. I'm not giving another presentation. And he talked in depth about the security co-pilot, yeah, which helps you to get things done very quickly. Yeah, you have the data protection, email protection, and so on. And he talked about the key features and capabilities, which is real-time monitoring and so on. talked about the deployment scenarios, which are multi-cloud environment, hybrid infrastructure, and versatility. Any questions? Any questions? Do we have any questions from anybody? Okay, he also talked about that in organizations, the budget allocated to cloud security is very low. Yeah, very, very low. And security in general, the budget allocation is quite low. Yeah, I'm still waiting for questions. If you have any questions, you could drop it on the chat if you have questions. And he also talked about the 4 categories of people in AI. You have the lookers, the gloomers, the zoomers, and the bloomers. Yeah. I am among the bloomers. Yes, I'm one of the bloomers. Yeah, and he talked about the security touch points. Copilot does not end with Azure, having Defender and identity. Yeah, and security Copilot helps to analyze threats and attacks. Yeah, I think that's a highlight of what he's talked about. He talked about so much, but this is what I got down. So, any questions from the audience? Question time. Okay, no questions online. Okay, at this point, we'll say a very big thank you to Mr. Olawale Olajide. It's been nice having you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you too. I appreciate you. Okay,
thank you, everyone.
At this point, okay, you have a nice weekend. Oh yeah, I'm sure you're still on call. You're watching. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is
absolutely.
Great. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Thank
a
you so
global.
much.
Great. You are welcome. Thank you. Okay. The next speaker is Mr. Let me get his name, Mr. Tosin Ojo. His topic is From Data Silos to Unified Insights, Integrating Azure Data Factory with Power BI and Fabric. You're welcome, Mr. Tosin Ojo. Yeah, please take it away. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay.
All right.
Screen is coming up.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And that was a great presentation from Olawale. Well done, Olawale.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm very, very glad to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to be speaking on this event, Azure 2025. So I'm speaking on from data silos to unified insights, integrating Azure Data Factory with Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. So I'll be starting with overview. What data is actually. We use data every day. We generate loads of data, in fact, not even millions of data are being generated every day. And many times we collect data that we don't necessarily need. Okay. Data are being generated in different formats. So as much as possible, we are having IoT devices, they generate data. Your bulb, your bell, your traffic lights, your weather forecast, everything is generating, all IoT devices are generating billions of data, right? And talk of it as a business. Businesses collect data every day, either for sales purpose, either for transaction purpose, either for supply chain purpose. They collect data every day for different purposes. And these data sets, how we use them is what really matters the most. How businesses use that data is not necessary. Many businesses collect data just for collection's sake, right? They collect data just to keep it and dump it somewhere and just to keep it. So they collect data nobody's even asking for. They collect data they're not even trending. the quality that they are not even analyzing, right? So all this data set comes together and just more like a waste of space at so many points in time, right? So for us to be responsible in our data collection, right? We need to define purpose of data collection. Collecting the data, we have to have a reason for collecting the data even before we collect them, and even before, so that we can analyze them correctly or transform them correctly, clean them correctly, and analyze them correctly. Now, there's a saying that data is the new oil, and I will say that, how are you drilling your oil, and how are you refining your oil? Is not is not is not is not the big deal is not even the oil, right? It is how you are refining it, and how you are drilling it, and how you are refining it. So we'll be talking about data silos, how the organizations are keeping data in different locations and collecting data in silos, and how to responsibly collect data, and how to use them in this modern day and analyze them correctly using Microsoft Fabrics and Azure Data Factory. So data refers to raw facts, figures, and statistics collected from various sources in business, such as customer interaction, sales transaction, I've said it does this, supply chain activities, or social media engagement. Data becomes valuable when it is collected, analyzed, and used to inform decision. Okay. So we now say business cost of data silos. So data silos are isolated pockets of data locked in separate departments, into separate systems or applications. Like I've said earlier, that so many companies, organizations collect data, and some data are even sitting right on the machine of one of the staff members. So take for instance, if one of the staff members is not available at the point of need of the data, that means the data goes useless, is useless, and of no purpose. So why collecting data that is not being centralized in a central location where you can tap in and analyze every day, every time? And the business cost is that inconsistent reporting between departments, because departments will not be able to cross-use data. They will not be able to use data and cross-examine data together. Slower decision making, increased operational costs due to duplicated effort. So, for instance, if, like I said, if the person in charge of the data is not available, so it means that effort of collecting data is in waste, and sometimes you have to go all over again, right? And when you collect it again, it might be in different formats, in another separate formats, and it keeps changing, You are not able to even get real-time data that you are able to analyze and track. So you are not able to track your data, and able to track your change in data. Another one is missed opportunity from poor visibility into key metrics. So it gives missed opportunity it is a poor visibility. So if you are not able to see your data in real life, then it is of no use. Okay. So how businesses collect and store data? Most businesses store data in silos, right? And what siloed means, and I've explained before, siloed data sources refer to data systems that are isolated from one another, preventing information from being easily accessed, shared, or integrated across departments, tools, platforms, or within an organization. And for us to have a strong or a responsible data usage or data collection, we need to have a unified data strategy, a business imperative. To remain competitive, business must consolidate data sources. So put all the data sources into a system, and have a schema for your data sets. Ensure data quality and consistency, and that's where data schema comes in. Because when you have schema for your data, right, it gives you it gives a kind of rule, set of rules. And I think one thing about even unifying data, collecting data, is that data must have metadata. That's a metadata is more like a document that explains so it's the data of the data. That's what metadata is, data of the data. So whatever data you are collecting, there's another file that explains the data set. So what the columns means, what each column, the definition in each column, what is expected to be collected, how is expected to be collected, what's the data types, whatever, everything. It needs to be ensured. So another thing is enable access to trustworthy data for everyone, from analysts to executives. Because the hallmark of data collection is to make business decisions. You are not collecting data just for the purpose of just having data sitting somewhere, or just, oh, we are a data collector. No, the whole essence of collecting data is so that you be able to analyze data and make business decision out of your data later on with your data. And that brings us to the powerful trial, the powerful three uh, three tools from Microsoft. But before we delve into that, I will want to talk again about the business implication of data. For decision making, data enables data-driven decision and not guesswork. So it makes you not to do guesswork when you are making decision, and it also helps in efficiency. It identifies process bottlenecks and automation opportunities. Business implication of data is another one, is that it helps in customers. It helps you to understand customer experience. So it helps you to deliver personalized service and timely support to your customer. So you know the turnaround time. You understand what your customers are saying. Go about that also. It gives you a competitive advantage. Having data gives you competitive advantage. It helps you detect anomalies or patterns that signal fraud, or failure. And it also helps to reveal gaps in products, service, that can inspire new offerings. So you cannot the purpose or the implication of having good data cannot be overemphasized. In fact, like I said the other time, like data is said, we do say that data is the new oil, but how are you refining it? So refining your data, the process of you refining your data gives whatever you do at the point of your refining your data is it has strong implication on the kind of insight you get from the data. So I tell data analysts that most of when at work, I say most of what we do basically, in fact, the bulk of our work is around data cleaning, ensuring that our data is clean, right? You spend more hours cleaning your data than you even spend in analyzing it. When you are even trying to create data pipeline, maybe you are trying to do your ETL as a data engineer or analytics engineer, trying to arrange for your data pipeline from at the point of extraction or ingestion to the point of loading or analyzing. At that point, transformation is important. That's why transformation in your ETL pipeline, transformation is in between. So ETL is extract, transform, load, right? So when we collect data in different formats, so data are being ingested from, you extract data from APIs, you get data from your CSV, you get data from JSON, get data from in CSV format, get data from various sources in different formats. Okay. Now when you get your data from different data sources, as the case may be, that might advise you to, okay, what kind of database you are trying to load your data into. For example, if you are using MongoDB, you might be using whatever you want to use it for your database anyway. So you collect data from different data sources and you perform your ETL pipeline, ETL operations. So extract, transform, load, and sometimes you use extract, load, and transform. That is ELT. But the very important that determines the output as a decision maker is the process in the transformation, whatever happens in the transformation. So you spend most of your time cleaning your data, right? So the the uh, the activity or the time spent in cleaning your data is not a waste. In fact, it is the most rewarding activity in data analytics. The most important activity, I think, is data cleaning. It is you cannot jump it. If you jump it and say, oh, this data is too I'm working with big data and I have to go through a lot in cleaning it, passing it through, doing a data frame on it, performing this on it, and I think it's this. You cannot jump it. If you jump it, you'll be committing analytics suicide. So you'll be getting wrong results at the end of the day, and you'll be making guesswork. Even when you're looking at data, still making guesswork because you'll be making decisions that is quite different from what data is actually saying. So let me make an example of business impact of data. So I want to dwell on data, explaining, importance of data even before we go to even try to see how Microsoft Fabrics, Azure, Data Factory, and even Power BI, how they work together and how we can use them. So I cannot overstress the point that data in silos or having data in silos is not it does more harm than good for any business. So let's take for instance business implication of data. This and traffic data helps optimize, for example, helps optimize your store layout and inventory. So for example, if you have your business you are trying to have a restaurant on a broad street, on a street where you have, I think, for you before you even go out to even start your business, you collect data to understand the traffic around that area, the need assessment around that area, right? And after that, you want to understand what's the proximity of this place to foot traffic, how people travel around this area. Is it accessible? Is it this? Is it this? So analyzing sales and traffic helps to optimize your store layouts and your inventory. In fact, sometimes it even helps in how you design your restaurant or your space, wherever you're doing. So another thing is that it's in bank or in finance, you can use it for predictive model based on transaction data to detect fraud activity. And we know that these days it's had gone so quite well that you can, for example, you are trying to use your cards and ATM. Let me use ATM as an example. ATM machine in Nigeria. If you slot your card in the first time and you put the wrong pin, it might tell you, okay, wrong pin. You put it the second time. If you put wrong code the second time or the third time, you will not be able to get your card back. Okay, and it will cancel the transaction and it will take your card, right? So that what they call it is swallow your card. So it helps. So that because the machine has been designed to be able to detect fraud. So it is pattern recognition. That's another pattern that when you try to log in 3 times, or if you are trying to for your even your email address or whatever, if you try to log in like wrong password twice or 3 times, it will lock you out of your account, and it will tell you to put a code or somewhere how you can retrieve your account somehow. So all these are put in place just for security purpose. And in healthcare, in hospital, another example, I think that's coming to my head. Patient records and treatment outcome guide more accurate diagnosis and care path. So having the understanding of a patient, having good understanding this of the medical record of a patient helps you to even diagnose better, right? So that's why when you go to hospital, they ask so many questions. They ask so many questions, right? They ask you even when it seems not related to what is happening at that point. They ask so many questions about your um, um, hereditary, generational, ask so many questions, and all these ones they are just to make decision. Um, in e-commerce, real-time customer behavior improves product recommendation and conversion. So we've seen that over times, many times, even so. If you on social media, they're working on social media, you notice that when you the algorithm understands that when you search, so sometimes you understand that when you search for some things on Jumia, for example, and you go on Instagram, you are likely to see that in your first page. That almost something in that category. I like to see it on and you didn't search it on Instagram though. So that is uh, your phone or whatever device has saves a kind of data and is sharing it across your platform. Every platform you open, it will be tracking you, more like it tracking you. So with big businesses are able to use data accurately and for recommendation and prediction for you, they can predict what they can predict. That's why there is a prediction or predicted ad for you. There's an ad that comes to you that might not come to me, and because of my interest. So if an SME will be doing itself a disfavor if now have all your data sets in or your customer data you've been collecting, just have them stored somewhere, different places. You have an Excel document saved today and you abandon it, you start tomorrow, you collect another one, and you're not even linking them together, you're not tracking them together. You'll not be making good business decision that way. Um, a good business decision is made in volume. So you know that there are three V's in data: volume, veracity, and velocity, right? So you want to make data decision based on the volume. So the bigger the data, the closer to accuracy of your data set of your insight that you're getting from there. The speed at which your data is being, and that comes to us in the data factory. We're mentioning that around Microsoft Fabric also. You understand that. So from that, we understand that data is very important to business leaders because it ensures strategic alignment between data effort and business goals. It helps leaders ask real question or right question, and it supports data culture in an organization. So it helps team use insight to improve performance. So in summary, before I move forward, data silos are incomplete, inconsistent with decision making. It gives poor quality. It gives decision. It is poor in quality because of the disparity, it lacks data literacy, and it's inactionable. So it gives an inactionable dashboard at the end of the day when you are trying to um, when you are even ready to make your decision. Now that brings us to the three powerful triad I mentioned: the Azure Data Factory, which is for data ingestion and orchestration data movement; Microsoft Fabric, which is the almost the latest, and it is for integrated data storage and transformation; and the last one, which is Power BI, for delivering intuitive, powerful insights. Now, I will start with Azure Data Factory, then I will come to Microsoft Fabric. So Azure Data Factory, think of it as a data pipeline tool that helps you to build ETL. And I think I've explained what ETL means the last time. ETL is extract, transform, load, or the other way around, it might be extract, load, transform, which is an activity of in data engineering. And something very spectacular about data is that it is always related to oil or water. So you talk about pipeline. You know, pipeline is moving something from one location to another. So pipeline is that pipe that helps you to move it from a point A to point B. So there's a pipeline in between, and there's an extraction, there's a transmission, there's a load. So you're taking it to a refinery, and from refinery, when you refine it at the refinery, you load it in trucks to be distributed to customers. So that's how also data works, also, right? So think of Azure Data Factory as a cloud-based integration service provided by Microsoft that allows you to ingest, transform, and move data across data stores, either on-prem or in the cloud. And there are a few components or core components of Azure Data Factory, and that is pipeline. That's one that helps in logical grouping of activities that perform tasks. Either it can ingest data or copy activity to get data. So you can get data from any source using copy activity in Azure Data Factory. Um, Activities use units of work like copy, data flow, stored procedure, or web activity. And we also have data sets. Okay, so there are metadata that defines the data structure, and I've explained metadata the other time. Metadata are data of data, right? So they are data that defines the structure of the data. And what can Azure Data Factory do? What it can do, you can ingest, you can transform, you can even load your data even in Data Factory. So Azure Data Factory is very powerful, and it can do all the activities for you from end to end, right? So you can inside it, you copy activities, you get your data from any source. So you can get your data from Lakehouse, get it, transform it, and then move it into another database, or connect it. From there, you can link it to, you can then move or connect it up with your Power BI to create an insight. And you can also use it to create, you can also schedule or orchestrate. So orchestration is like triggers. So orchestration is like daily refresh. Because for example, in Power BI, when you analyze your data and when you create your report or your dashboard at the end of the day, you want the data sets you want it to, after you've created your report the first time, your data source, it keeps building every day. For example, if my data source is an online review, So I want to be able to analyze reports, or I want to be able to analyze what customers are saying about my day, about my product every day. So I have a website. I connect my Power BI to an API, right? And I want it to be triggered every day, maybe at 7 a.m. to refresh my data flow, and bring in new data and update them every day. So I get new and updated reports every day. So that's orchestration. Scheduling and orchestration. And you can also use good thing about data factory is that it is can for monitoring purpose. So it will give you uh, uh, more like cron jobs, right? So you can use it to build a track pipeline runs, failures or performance of your report. And in reward, people we move data from on-prem SQL Server to Azure Data Lake daily, ingest data into Salesforce and load into Azure Synapse Analytics, transform the raw data. So we can transform raw data from IoT sensors using mapping data flows. And we can also schedule ETL jobs and monitor them from centralized um, dashboard. So um, if I want to say the pros and cons of the advantage and disadvantage of Azure, relying solely on Azure Data Factory, the good thing about it is that it is serverless and it is very scalable. It's in fact I want to dwell more on the pros because it is more of advantage than disadvantage to any business. So it has a built-in connection for many services. It has tight integration with Azure ecosystem and low-code interface for ETL or ELT. So, like I mentioned before, I don't want to walk up through it again. An example of how you use Azure Data Factory is when you ingest data, okay, from a server using copy activity, and after ingesting such data, you transform that data and with your data flow, mapping data flows, you remove duplicates, you standardize columns, then you load your data into Azure SQL Server, kind of trigger the pipeline to run at a particular time. Then you monitor the results with your with your Azure data file, that's ADF. You can monitor it. So it's Azure Data Factory. It's an all-encompassing. It's an all-encompassing. But I think my time is almost over. So I want to quickly, before my time runs out, I want to also talk about the big guy in the room. The big guy in the room as Microsoft Fabrics. Microsoft Fabrics um, is somewhat so it is built on one lake. Okay, so it's built on one lake and it's an end-to-end system that allows all-in-one data analytics platform from directs from data engineering to data science. It has features for data integration, real-time analysis, and it has also feature for business intelligence, that is Power BI. So everything into one system. So think about Azure Synapse Analytics, talk about Azure Data Factory, talk about Lakehouse, talk about data warehousing, everything together into one system, and that is Microsoft Fabric. It is designed to eliminate data silos, so simplify data workflows and centralize all data work in one environment. Like I said, some of the features of Microsoft Fabric is that it has one lake. It has notebook and Spark. If you use Python, it has feature for that you can use, can either transform your data, if you're lean, if you are more SQL person, it has you don't need to go out of Microsoft Fabric to do anything. You can do everything you need to do in Microsoft Fabrics. So if you are SQL lean, it has system for you. If you are Python lean, it has system for you. In terms of language, so you can create your data pipeline in Azure, which is similar to Azure Data Factory, used to ingest and orchestrate data workflow. It has lakehouse and warehouse. So the you choose between lakehouse and warehouse. It depends on the structure and the nature of the data, right? You know that lakehouse generally. So I'll just break that. Lakehouse generally is used for big data on unstructured data, on and unstructured data. So just looking at it as lake, right? When water is coming to a lake, it's just so many things. It's mostly unrefined, so it's unstructured. Take it that way. And data warehouse is where you have your structured data. So it works perfectly with that, and it also has a Power BI integration, which is good for any data analyst or data engineer or analytics engineer. The conventional way of using Fabrics, or let's say, or just to compare Fabric with any other system, is that Azure it has in Azure Data Factory. In Microsoft Fabric, you have Fabric data pipelines. So just to compare the two, Azure Data Factory and Microsoft Fabric. Azure Data Lake, we have that Azure Data Lake in Azure Data Factory. You have in Microsoft Fabric now, you have one lake, because Microsoft Fabric is built on one lake system. It has Fabric layer, Fabric lakehouse, and warehouse. It is Power BI integrated. It has notebook. I understand that the Power BI integrated, that's Power BI service, right? So I'll briefly talk about that before I round up my session. So how they all work together. So you ingest data using your data pipeline or your data flows, store it in one of the lakes, process it. If you are Python person, you can use your notebook. If you want to go no code, right? So see, it has so many use cases, right, for everybody. If you are a no code person, Data Flow Gen 2 is for you, which is very similar to what you have in Power Query in Excel, right? So it is a no code. Data Flow Gen 2, you can use it to transform and process your data, you can visualize data with your Power BI with that, and collaborate. So why having data in silos when you have Microsoft Fabric that helps you to bring your data into a place and structure it and have generalized and have a functional report that helps that every day or every time that you refresh or go about it. So before I finally end this, I want to just talk about Power BI briefly. So Power BI, like we know, is Power Business Intelligence, and is basically used to create report for businesses. So business case, retail, business, sales and customer. So what you do in Power BI is that when you create your report, Power BI has three what's the word now? It works on three platforms. So Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, and Power BI Mobile. You can start with Power BI Desktop, do your report, do everything, generate your dashboard, then upload it to Power BI Service. That's where your Microsoft Fabric comes in. Because in Microsoft Fabric, you will have created a workspace, right? And inside that workspace, so think about workspace as an office, right? So it gives you a workspace, and inside that workspace, you'll be able to create for your team, And the good thing about it is that you can even have a role level security. So what I mean by role level security is that, or whatever security you want to put in place, that such that you can only see data that are related to your department. Okay. So instead of keeping data in silos, put everything together, create a workspace, get data into your workspace. Then there can be role level security where you can only see anybody that belongs to sales team can only see or can only work with sales data, and anybody in HR can only work with HR. Again, I can just to give a context to it, and your data is more secured, so you'll be able to generate reports that can be used everywhere in your organization. Uh, so, and I think that is so. I believe that in my last almost 40 minutes, I've been able to good extent, walk you through, if not that, I mean, walk you through how to why you need to move, why any organization needs to move from having data in silos and move to a point of unified insight. And the advantage is there, and what you can use, the tool is there for you to use. Microsoft Fabric, Azure Data Factory, Microsoft Power BI is there for you. So you have so many things, you have so many tools that have been developed for ease for any business. So at this, I'll be stopping here for now, and I'll be sitting back to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tosiojo. Okay, question time. Do you have any questions? Question time. This is a very interesting topic. Thank you, because I see you did justice with this topic. Data silos to unified insights, integrating Azure Data Factory with Power BI and Fabric. This is also my area, actually. So well done for a job well done. Yeah. Okay, I'll just give the highlights of what is said while we wait for questions. Please drop your questions on the chats. Yeah. Started by saying that data refers to raw facts, figures, and statistics collected from various sources in a business. Yeah, data is the new oil. We all know that. Yeah, such as customer interactions, sales transactions. Yeah, and data becomes valuable when it is analyzed. Yeah, that's why we have data analysts like himself and myself. Okay, the business cost of data silos. Data silos. It talks about data silos in depth. It says it's inconsistent reporting between departments. Yeah, these are the business costs of data silos. Yeah, what it costs the business. You have slower decision making, and you'll also have increased operational costs due to duplicated efforts. And he also talked about how businesses collect data and the unified data strategy, yeah, which is a business imperative. Yeah, we're still waiting for questions while I am giving you a highlight of all he said. I'm not giving another presentation, so just taking some time to see if we have questions. Okay, and he talked about the remain competitive and business to remain competitive. Yeah, businesses must consolidate data sources. Yeah, he also said that you need to ensure data quality and consistency and enable access to trustworthy data. Yeah, and he talked about the powerful trial, yeah, which is the Azure Data Factory for ingesting and orchestrating data movements. He also talked about the Microsoft Fabric for integrated data storage and transformation. Yeah, and Power BI, which is used for delivering intuitive and powerful insights. Yeah, and we did say that the Azure Data Factory, is a data pipeline tool that helps you build ETL, which is extract, transform, and load data, or ELT, extract, load, and transform data. Yeah, it helps you to build these workflows in a scalable and serverless way. Yeah, so the Azure Data Factory is used for ingestion and transformation. And he also talked, remember, I'm not giving another presentation, it's a highlight I'm doing, so I'm not going in depth into all this. And he also talked about the Microsoft Fabric, which is used to build and to eliminate silos. Yeah, it's an end-to-end, all-in-one data analytics platform from Microsoft that unifies multiple data services: data engineering, data science, data integration, real-time analytics, and Power BI, yeah, into a single software as a service experience. And he also talked about Power BI, which is used for research. Thank you very much, Tosio, yeah, for this very insightful session. Yeah, at this point, do we have any questions? Any questions on the chat? Okay. We appreciate you, Tosin Ojo. At this point, I'll be calling on the next speaker. Okay, actually, there'll be two. We have Mr. Oluwaseyi Olunju. Yeah, and he'll be speaking on. He's coming in with. Okay, he'll be speaking on. Okay, 1 minute. Let me just check his topic. He's speaking on creating a reactive inventory agent using Azure AI Foundry. Please welcome Mr. Sheyi. I just call him Mr. Sheyi for short. Yes, you're welcome. Yeah. Thank you very much, Stosi. That was very good. Mr. Sheyi, you have the floor. Waiting for you to come. Yeah, come on. Online. And Mr. Sheyi, are you here? Okay, yes, he's coming in with Mr. Olatubosun Sami. Okay, Mr. Olatubosun Sami is here. While we're waiting for Sheyi to come on, please, you can take it from here. Over to you. You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever. Remember, it's a global conference. Azure Global
Forever you,
Conference. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening from
morning,
wherever you're
good afternoon, good
logging in
evening,
from.
and wherever you're calling
Thank
from.
you.
I'm super excited to be part of to be among the data practitioners today, Saturday. So, um, we are going to be um, demonstrating on an inventory. So I have a data with me on an inventory. So we want to conduct
Okay,
an
I
inventory
am on.
analysis.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you, Mr.
Okay, so
Shea. You're
I'll share
welcome.
the screen. I'll share our screen so that we
Okay.
can pick it up from the beginning. Yeah.
All right. You're welcome.
Uh, You're welcome. Okay, and my screen. Okay, please let me know if you can see my screen.
Okay, yeah, your screen is up now.
Okay,
I see
thank
your screen.
you. Yeah. So, good day. Just as Tuboso have said, good day, good afternoon, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Global Azure Bootcamp. And before us is a solution that we want to talk about, and that solution is how to create an inventory agent using Azure Fund AI. But before we go into there, we need to lay some foundation. And one of the foundation is to talk about the advent of data. If you notice, when Olawale talk about AI on Azure, when Tosin also make reference to AI, there's one connecting factor here, which is data. Historically, um, data became prominent in 1940, in 1640 rather, when there is a particular uh, public public social worker called John Grant, who was the father of public health statistics. So in those days in England, in the native London area, there was issue with um, health and the challenge with death rate increasing when there was an epidemic around the metropolitan area of London City. And that took a lot of toll on them. Now, one of the challenge they have is that they couldn't get proper statistics. They couldn't analyze those statistics. They couldn't get it into perspective for people to be able to know, for example, how many people died yesterday, how many people still on the sick bed, how many people had doctor attending to them. It was chaos in those days in 1640. But this man, John Grant, came up with a way by which he can analyze this data and to bring a definite roadmap in terms of the pattern at which this disease is killing each of the people within the city. And that started off the quest for data and analysis. So for us and Tubosun this afternoon, we have just very short time with us. We have just 40 minutes, and we're going to talk about Azure Foundry. We know the bedrock of Microsoft cloud technology has been built on Azure. Azure is the cloud offering, public cloud offering that Microsoft is offering to the public, which entails the capability of storage in terms if you want to use for storage, in terms of infrastructure build so that you don't spend too much money on infrastructure. It also helps you to lower your costs in terms of scalability because you can now determine when you need resources because you are paying as you go. So all those infrastructure build on Microsoft cloud offering trickle down to different model. We have the infrastructure as a service, which entails you to be able to pay Microsoft, and Microsoft will give you an infrastructure space, or you bring your server into their data center and you can manage it yourself. However, they are able to optimize your performance by creating the environment, the server, the storage, the virtual environment. Then we have the platform as a service, which is also one of the modern Microsoft Azure cloud also offer, which entails you having a metrics of like a 60 to 40. Microsoft optimize 80 to 20 rather, optimize everything from the storage, the environment, the processing, down up to when you have the infrastructure. All infrastructure is provided, all the environment is provided. The only thing you need to bring in platform as a service is to bring your data and ensure that you have the right credential to be able to optimize what you want to do on the application. Then the final one on the model is software as a service. So all these are built on Microsoft Azure. So Microsoft Azure Foundry is one of the feature that we have on Microsoft Azure, which also can help you to work on AI as a service. What that means is that I can run AI services, create application, develop. I don't need to build my machine learning environment and structure it as in the core traditional AI model that we have in the past. So we're also going to look at agentics. Now, this is a new trend. What is an agent? Why do I need to use an agent? What is the advantage of agent? Then we're going to look at a case study where Tubosun is going to help out here from the data space because it's the data analyst. Then we're going to demonstrate it and we have final tips and takeaway. Now, looking at the scenario here, when we look at Microsoft Azure, so when we look at AI solution, and we are over the years when Azure AI started becoming prominent with the advent of generative AI, where OpenAI had this handshake with Microsoft, a lot of things were coming into play. And one of those things that were coming into play is the capability and the ability to be able to have certain of those services. Now, when AI model started, when John Turing started way back in 1954, you notice that every model was created by individual, which starts by building infrastructure. From the infrastructure, he build the model, he does the model test and training, and once he's actualized that process, he ensure that those solution or those application or those model or those machines are able to meet what the data injected into it can actually actualize. So as technology improves this, a lot of things started coming up. One of the things that comes up when technology improved was ability to have AI services as a service on in the cloud. I Microsoft start with cognitive services. They run with automatic machine learning. A lot of things happen. But in the recent time, with the evolvement and evolution of AI, with the injection of generative AI, which is a new trend that allowed me to be able to go beyond traditional creating a model, objectively predicting or probably amplifying what I want. I need to have a system that can automate my system. I need to have an environment that can keep in tap of what I do. Then the simplicity is now a core culture that is required in this age. And that is why Microsoft introduced what we call Azure AI Foundry, which is just a simplified AI development platform, which remove what we call the human nervousness, where you think about how do I go about this? How do I set things in motion? How do I ensure that everything I do is able to what? To get to my customer and my customer can enjoy those services automatically. So Azure Foundry, AI Foundry is a mix of a platform that require you that you can do all AI services from generative AI, from the angelic testing it, ensuring you integrate it, even your code-based solution. So it builds confidence and is more strategic in this era of AI development. So what this means is that is a simplicity of having a simple method. And I will not say much, and I will just bring in some of I'll bring in the solution from the core relationship of the owner himself, that is Microsoft. Let them come in and tell us what this means in I do something with Microsoft product. I usually go into into what we refer to as Microsoft Mechanic. Now, what they do is that every time a product is brought in, they easily engage with those products by ensuring those products are simplified and are brought in into the limelight through a video series. So we're going to watch one of those video trying to define what Azure AI Foundry is. I'll try and share my screen to be sure that the audio can come out. Just give me some minutes, please, and be sure that I can have the audio. So I'll share my screen again. Just give me some minutes, please. So I share my audio, shared with it, and you should be seeing my screen right. Okay, so I will play the video telling us, I will just play some 5 minutes of the video where we see how Microsoft define Azure Foundry.
For agents, well, let me show you.
Sorry, I'll start from the beginning.
Foundry is the one place for discovering and accessing the right building blocks for your agents, with everything you need for AI development. Today, I'll share the essentials for Azure AI Foundry, starting with a tour of its extensive capabilities as a unified platform that supports you throughout the entire AI development lifecycle, from initial concept with early experimentation, coding in your preferred IDE, pre-production assessment, management in production, and beyond.
Sorry.
Followed by a real example of the steps for creating a multi-agent application using the new Azure AI Agent Service in Azure AI Foundry, all integrated with your code. Starting with our tour, you can easily reach to Azure AI Foundry at ai.azure.com. And once you've created a project, panning down the left rail, you can quickly see the core experiences. First, the model catalog helps you discover and access a growing collection of thousands of models to power your individual agents as you build your system, including premium large language models from OpenAI, Meta, DeepSeek, Cohere, and more, as well as small language models like Microsoft Phi. And of course, there are hundreds of open models like those from Hugging Face for you to try out. Models are also available by area of specialization. For example, there are regional and focus models to support interactions with different spoken languages, like Mistral for European languages and Jace for Arabic. And separately, there are industry-specific models that you can choose from. The entire model catalog is hosted on Microsoft's supercomputer infrastructure in Azure for optimized cost performance. Next, in terms of model deployment, you can choose to run models on hosted hardware with managed compute, and for dozens of our popular premium models, you can use our serverless API option. As you use Azure AI Foundry, you can of course also bring your own models to run on your Azure infrastructure. Then, to help you choose the right model for your agent, you can easily experiment in our playground. For agents, you can add knowledge to ground your model. You can choose files to upload, use existing search index, or add web knowledge using Microsoft Bing. There are also options to add data from Microsoft Fabric, as well as SharePoint to connect with data in Microsoft 365. You can also define actions for your agents to perform, like calling APIs, functions, or using Code Interpreter to write and run Python code to automate processes. And back on the homepage, Clicking into AI services provide additional task-specific capabilities that you can use to augment your agents, like speech, translation, vision, and content safety. So right from the start on your application design, you can leverage Azure AI Foundry to evaluate AI models and services for your application. Next, to create and customize agents, the new Azure AI Agent Service helps you orchestrate AI agents without managing the underlying resources. Importantly, everything you do in Azure AI Foundry is integrated with your coding workspaces. In the code,
So you can see one major thing that she emphasized there is that this can be easily integrated with your code base.
experience, you can
So that means that all we see and what Azure Foundry is basically built on is a one-stop stopper that can help you as a company, as an individual, as a corporate, an enterprise, or a small business to build solutions across your AI services and ensuring that those solutions can be trickled down in any model you choose like. And the Azure AI Foundry has a lot of catalog and I think it's over 8,000 now. It keeps increasing. When we begin to look at it practically, you see a lot of things that Azure Foundry can do for us. Now, let's move on a little bit. Now, he mentioned agentic and he mentioned agent. Now, what is an agent? Now, let's have a little understanding of agentic AI. Now, two things we need to understand. In the past, before 3 years ago, when OpenAI started, when all of us were invest with ChatGPT, a lot of things start trickling in, which require you to be able to create images, create content, and document by actually using the a large language model out there, and using your model to build on the data that's on the internet. And that gives a lot of creative information, simplicity in how we relate to our documentation, ability to speed up our efficiency in our workplaces. All this, even in the voice, in the video edition, we know a lot of things happening with AI. But we are getting to a stage where we want to be able to do what we call automation, autonomy, ability to run a specific act that we do every time. We want to run it consistently without interruption. So we now need to begin to bring our mind and blow our mind out from the specific what we have before to create what we call an agent. So one thing we need to understand about agent is an AI that acts on its own. That means once you set it up, it knows the frequency, it knows the flow, it keeps working. Now, another thing about the agent is that it learns on the job. It keeps working as long as you are injecting the data. And I mentioned earlier when I was introducing John Grant as the father of the data statistics and analysis. I made you to understand that data has always been a bedrock to every solution that is being built in our day. Data is like a fuel that is fueling and injecting all AI provision that we're seeing today. So once this data is injected, what happens to an agent is that it improves as it goes. It makes it more smarter, ability to constantly and consistently creating a conversation an iteration that can make it to fit well with human understanding. Now, notwithstanding, we should also know that we can actually spread agent across several defined processes. One of them is sales. Another one is time management, maybe in the offices. Another one is in health sector, where we use it to look at the benefit against the provision of health solution that have been created by company. And finally, tracking record. So also, we can also use in IT for making sure that we have IT support, and that ensure that easily can you solve problem. Now, if you are versatile with traveling, There are so many agents out there now. Most of them are basically solution and application created. They can even help you to get your ticket by spoofing into almost all the airline provider across the world and tells you that the prices for probably American airline is $10. Probably the one for British airline is about £10. All this is to be able to get in perspective, tracking those records, automatically doing that. Now, what is this bringing us? There are several benefits we can start looking at it from. One of the benefits is that it now provision efficiency to almost all the agents. It enhances people to make fast and quick decisions. It also reduces manual intervention, which has been the core of most of our provision application today. What are we saying? We are saying that with the evolution of agentic coming in, we are talking of a goal-getting solution that can help you to simplify and create efficiency and optimize your solution at almost 30 to 40%, even going to 70% of your core or your former instances. Now, I'll bring Bosun back now because we are now going to go into the demo. And before we go into demo, we want to look at the case study we want to demonstrate. What are we going to show in our demo? I don't know if the Bosun can come back on the screen. Now, this is the story. A particular company want to have an inventory app. Now, their business is into a way by which they supplied computer accessory, and one of the accessory they supply is is um is I think they supply hard disk and some I think hard disk specifically, and they have a lot of store across the country. Now I'm in Africa, I'm in Nigeria, and there's a gap. Now I don't know if Bosu can put more light to this case. There's a gap here because they have an issue with knowing how to distribution of the product they are selling. The demand is they need to have a way to analyze it, and they need an agent that any of the sales person can easily talk to and get the inventory without calling the procurement officer. Bosun, can you put a little light to what the case study?
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. So my name is Otun Lalasbos. And a quick one, we are going to demonstrate how we can integrate agentic AI to answer some of our business questions. So this is a case study. Our organization, Covenant Technologies, deals with sales of computer accessories, and so we want to know the number of particular products we have. What is our stock level? We want to know those products. We need to replenish back. So that we are not out of stock. As we all know, as a business owner, when you have a business and customer comes to your store, trying to get a product, and the product is not there. So that causes the customer to be dissatisfied. So in order to mitigate this loss, so we need to conduct an inventory analysis in our store. So
okay,
I'll be.
So because of our time,
hello.
Hello, we are with you, Bosun. So because of our time, now we need to first of all get those data. I know we cannot showcase all those stats. You need to first get those data. You need to help us to format it into probably the right format from all our database. And I know we use Fabric. But because of our time, we might not use Fabric now. All I want you to be able to get those data to me, and I'll be able to build an inventory app now that can do that analysis for us. So can we, can we do that? Or do you want to say something else, Dotun, Bosun?
Okay. This is the data.
Okay.
And these are the dimensions we need to answer those business questions. I've actually done the ETL behind the content management purpose. So I've done the ETL processes.
I can bring the data. This is data Bosun is mentioning. So he has copied.
So these are the dimensions
Yeah.
we'll be using to answer those business questions.
Okay. So let's just go to the demo. We'll put this out. Thank you, Bosun. So just be on standby in case I have question and I need to emphasize more. So I'll first pull out our environment, which apparently is our Azure environment. I need to bring it out. Now, this is our Azure environment. Now, we know that before you can have access to Azure, you must have your subscription, you must have login, and there must be credit in your subscription. So the first thing I need to do is to go to Azure AI Foundry. Under Azure AI Foundry, I need to open it up. Then open it up, I need to now create a project. And in creating a project, I need to ensure that the project has all the details. To create a project, you just go to the Foundry. There are two options. There are two different methodology we can take this. You can use this, you can carry out. One is to create a specific project that can allow you to track, build your AI applications. Or in a more organized way, I need to create it in a hub where I can have multiple projects running concurrently within my specs of operation. So in creating an hub, I'll just go to the hub creation. I'll quickly guide us through it. I'll not create one because I'll just go because of our time. Then first of all, you must have subscription, as I mentioned. You must be able to have your user, your resource group. Now, when you have your resource group, you take your resource group, you look at the region. Ensure you look at region. There are several regions that allow Azure Foundry in terms of the services. One of them is East US. So I'm either go to East US or go to Australia Central, but let's just do East US here. I'm not going to create this. I'm just going to use what East US. Then I have to create a name for it. Let's just call it Global AI Azure Bootcamp. I'm not going to create it, as I said, just for simplicity. I can see I have to make it a lower cap. Don't forget that. She issued, and it must be within certain number. So let me put it back again. Okay, so Global AI, then I need to have a resource attached to it in terms of my project resource group that will be relating to the hub, because an hub is like a collection of several of your projects that are working concurrently. So once you choose the hub, you now connect it to the service. Especially, we know AI services run on OpenAI model like ChatGPT, and we have several model catalog now. 4.0, there's 4, there's 4, there's 3.5, and there are other ones that are operational in Foundry, like the one for Meta and the like. So I choose one of them, then I move to the storage because of my time. I'll be faster now. I ensure I create a storage. I leave it at the default. I go to my accessing it. I allow it. This is where you can actually create an inbound access. You can streamline your inbound access to certain area, or you just allow it on all network. Then you go to the outbound. Under the outbound, you ensure that you target where those services is going to be consumed. for this default one, I'm going to consume it from the public. Then the encryption allowed to be encrypted. You can use the identity, you can tag it, and you now review it. Once you are done that, once the review is happening, I didn't do anything, so you create it. So let's just move out of here. Let's go to the service that we already created. I'm going to this hub called, I have two hub here. I'm going to show you this one tag to my account. Go to the hub. Now, under the hub, you see several of information that have been created, just as I mentioned before, is US, the subscription that has been done, the project group name, the storage account that was created, the security in terms of vault, the activity, the access control can be used to control who have access to the Foundry hub, then the event, the setting, and monitoring is very key. Then you can actually check the matrices. What are you consuming, because it's going to be related to your tax in terms of how much you are paying. Then you can also do support. Now let's quickly go back and let's move to where we are. Let's go to the Foundry itself. So I launched my Azure Foundry on this particular account, and I'm right here. I've already opened it earlier. Okay, now this is the Azure Foundry. Now this is like the summary page of my Azure Foundry. Now you can see it specify in detail what project I have on this different hub. I have two hubs, and I can also view all the project or create a new one. Then outside it, you can see the project that is going to work on. It can be on OpenAI. This is a play chart to test what you have done. Then in terms of content and security, and all services also are related, AI services, they are all being put in one perspective here. Then you have different model that you can check. And the summary page just give you that overview. Then on the extreme right, you can see the preview. Preview is that there's a new feature that has been added to Azure Foundry. You can easily see it from here. Then you can see the check button here. Now deploy model on Azure model interface services, evaluate content risks, especially when we come to responsible AI. You ensure it's always on by default. Then the assistant that you can have, if you want to have it navigate to your recent contest, recommendation that you can get, all can be added as a feature. So let's go right now into our hub that I've created before, because Bosun is ready for me with the data. We have seen the Excel file that shows our store and the rest. So here under the Azure AI Foundry hub I've created called Sheyo Gumiju 3029, I can see the API key in case I want to plug it into another application or another solution. They can easily copy the key and they can connect to it. You can see it's already connected to Azure AI endpoint. It's also connected to the AI or Azure AI interfaces, and is also connected by default. So you can see this is one spot that is doing everything at once. It's connected to to other services like text, speech, and the rest. So it's already connected to these services. So what we need to do is to go to the catalog. Now, under the catalog, you can see several model that is there. I said it keep increasing. It's over 1,009. It's about 1,987 model, and you can see several one from mini to GTP 4.1. You can see Field 0.4. You can see DeepSeek 3.2023 Luma from Meta is also there. You can see a lot of catalog. So if you have, you can even streamline it to your own model and upload to your local environment. So once you have choose the model, you have configured the Foundry, we now need to move to the agent because we're talking of time. I don't know how many minutes we have. So I go to the agent now. Under the agent, I need to create an agent to be able to solve Bosun issue, how to analyze our inventory application, how to analyze our inventory using the Agelic application. So once I get into it, I can see several agents have been created. So let's create a new, oh, my time is up. Okay. Can you can we get 5 minutes to round up? Or we should just, because we started a little bit late? Or I will just use one of the agent created. So here I create a new agent. Now, creating a new agent, it takes me, okay, thank you. It takes me to the Agelic environment where I have the agent ID and I can call it a name. And Bosun said it's an inventory hub. Inventory, we can call it inventory apps. So we now what one most important thing is that in the deployment I already created the different version. We are using the latest version, which is on 11 2024, and we have earlier one, but let's use the latest version so that we can have holistic grounding of our application. Then we need now to connect where those data, which also have just sent to me. So I need to add it to the knowledge base I create on the file. There are several ways you can do this. Let me mention it. You can either go through you can ground it with Bing. You can actually add a search, Azure AI search, but we cannot go into that detail. You can accelerate those data by connecting it to the fabric. But I told Bosun we cannot go through that now as we were preparing, because we need to have all those data. And so let him just give me a file. So he gave me a file. Then I need to upload that file. And you can see these are the file that is supported here. I told Bosun to put it in PDF for me. So I'll select it from he has sent to me. I go to my download, that is here, inventory. Thank you, Bosun, for sending this in. So it comes in. Then once it comes in, I can upload it and save it, and we are ready to start developing it. But mind you, Bosun mentioned analysis. So I need to also, apart from uploading my data here, I need to add what we call a code player. A code player is a solution on Azure Agent, on Azure AI Foundry, where we can use to be able to what? To define and to create what we call specific graphics in terms of analyzing what we have in our data and creating it as users converts with the agent. So I'm going to add that. It's taking time. Sorry, our time is fast spent. Okay. Okay, we are there. So we have created, I leave the temperature to this because of our time. So I need to put an action to it. That's where I was adding. Let me add a code that you can use an OpenAI 3.0, but I'm going to use a code interpreter here. Then I'll select a data. So I'll add the same PDF inventory that I have here into here, and I upload it, and let's see how it goes. We just do ask some question because Franca is already calling. I'll just ask some question, maybe one or two question on the playground, and we close for today. I'll ask one or two questions as Franca allow me. When he say time up, I'll just close. So we are just waiting for the code interpreter to come in. Yeah, we are almost done. That's great. So now we need to now test this out. Let's test the application. Let's see whether this inventory app will work. I'll go to the playground. Yeah, that is try playground. It takes me to the playground. Now I'm testing the agent now. I've been able to add the custom data that I asked for Bosun from his inventory, for the inventory of all the data he collected from the fabric. He has sent it to me. Now I am trying to, I've added the code interpreter to help us to interpret in terms of statistics. So let us first ask the first question. Now, let's ask our agent for test now. How many units of product we have in stock right now? Let's see what it will give us. Because of time, I've already written it in stock, question mark. So let's see what the agent will tell us here. Okay, he said, so it's calculating it for me. Oh, error. I've exceeded my token, just your token per rate. Okay, let me ask it again. It might be frequent, might be why. So let's see. Let me ask. Because I don't have much time, I cannot increase the token here. Let me see whether I can troubleshoot that. The token is really okay. Let me see. Let me see the token and see whether I can increase it. Okay. Let's do something. Let's go back to the playground. Let me go back to my agent. Let me just because of my resources I'm using, I think he's giving me. Let me use this, and let me play the playground. Let me ask the same question like the first one. Okay, yeah, so okay. Entry, okay. Now, can you list document I sent you include main entry of inventory product if you need consolidated stock here. So it's asking me whether I need a consolidated total stock count or specific product. Let me say, give me total stock count. Give me total stock count. I want the total stock count. The person is okay, is code file. Okay. Files here. So he's saying, I think there is something. Give me total stock count. It's not giving me what I want. Giving that error. Okay. So I asked to summarize the hard disk. You know, we sell hard disks. To summarize hard disk. So he's telling me this is we have 1 terabyte model of STI. That means might be Seagate. Then we have 10 terabyte model of Western Digital, and we have FireCorp series about 1 terabyte. So I can further tell him to, can you list the location of this hard disk that we have here? Can you list it for me? So let's see whether you give me a list. It's still giving me that error. Adjust your token. I don't want to adjust the token now. Don't have time for that. Let me ask a simple another question that might not require a lot of token asks. Let me ask about stock and product overstock that we have. Okay, these are product overstock that we have. And let me tell him to create a bar chart for me now on this product overstock against the understock. Let's see how many product. Bosun, can you explain what is overstock in this data and understock so that people can easily understand what I'm asking? Because I know we have lots of this here. Go ahead, please.
Okay, overstock has to do with having too much of particular product your store.
Okay.
Imagine that you have a store and you have an excess item that people are not coming to buy. So it's going to occupy space, and it's also going to occupy time. So that can actually lead to loss.
Okay.
Are you getting me, sir?
You get me. I get you now. So it's better we had to create a safety stock on certain products.
So that optimal stock level.
So let's try and look at one of them. Let's look at this Samsung. Let's look at the safety optimal safety level for that product. Let's see what you give us against one like scan disk, that is, or Seagate. I've typed this somewhere. Let me just go against something like safety of Samsung against, let's say, Seagate. Let's see what it can give us. So that means that the procurement will now help us to look at ways of increasing the stock of Samsung, because from what we see here is under stock. People come for that. Why people don't come for Seagate is just there, but they are not buying it. So we can just take a decision to make sure that we increase the product that is being it's giving us error. This issue. Let me try it again. Sorry, my internet is not getting there, or what? It's having that issue. Okay. Let me just ask a generic one. If it's not going to streamline that to me, what's up of whether I can give me which kind of suggestion, like analytics now, prediction, and see what that is not still having that issue of let me refresh it. See what question he said. To create a lab, analyze the stock level, compare them with predefined. I think the internet is serving that to create a safety, I will prepare a comparative chart for secret to visualize their level and proceed with comparison. Yes, he has done that. That's what I want him to do, but he's giving error. I don't know whether we still have time. Let me refresh this page and we'll set it up again. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with the platform. If Franca is ready, we are ready. We just our agent is misbehaving at the time. So we want to try and see. So while I'm doing that, let me go to agent. Let me delete one of the agents. Maybe it's taken to resources, and we can now test it again. Let me just the agent that we have there. Because when you talk token, it's trying to tell me on the provision I have, and I need to increase it, and that also might lead to costing and the rest. So let's just delete some of those agents. So let me just delete some of the agents, and this is the one we just, let's delete this. Let me delete the other one too. Let me just delete this. Okay, let me delete this one too. And let me also delete this. So let's go back to the playground on the inventory app and try to play it and connect it. So let's ask the same question we asked earlier. If not, I'll hand over to Franca to we have tried our best here. It's just our system is. So we are talking about creating the maximizing overstock. That's where me and we are trying to create a cost safety for the product we see that is more in the store against the one that see whether it will still respond to us. Okay, I think it's responding here. So in order to prepare a stock safety for this against and this, these are the steps he's giving me. I should buy this specific model. This is what they have been that I think is really high there. So I can also do it against Samsung, against probably Seagate. Let's do the same thing against Seagate. Let's see whether it will give us the same. And you'll be able to measure the safety, what you need to put in place, Seagate. Let's see what he will tell us here. Oh, it's still an error with, okay. Let's just ask it to put this, let's ask the same question here on scan disk and close by that. We'll work on the Seagate later. And let's repeat the question and let's see whether it will give us an error. I know it's okay, it's good now. So now the stock in this stock recommendation, increase inventory for competitive model, create target size visibility, and increase market engagement and branding. Then your price also is something you need to take note of in order to have this done in terms of the safety of the product that is constantly going down in your inventory against the one that is. So now let's now make it more pictorial. Put it in a chart now. Let's see in a chart. Maybe let's put in a pie chart first. I'm doing all this for my agent. I'm not going through Power BI. I'm just doing on my agent, and it's springing up all those answers for me. So it's a quick succession for me to be able to answer. If I deploy it in my environment for my sales team, they could know what they need to sell, when they need to sell, how they need to sell at time. And that will increase our sales performance. So after this, I'll hand over to you. So that we can, okay, he has done that. Thank God it's working. So he has given me a chart on how I can do what and what, and he's giving me a comparison of the charts pricing of these two items I have in the store and the percentage based on their respective points in the cost distribution. You can see this particular one I scanned this Ultra, is about 240 gig. You can see I have 11% of it. So compared to Samsung, that also is about 120. So this tells me that the lower the size of the I think another brand also matters. You can see we have Samsung selling more, and the higher the size of the Samsung, we are getting more sales. So as a company owner, I will start thinking of how to increase the stock of certain of this product and what I can do to reduce the stock. So I hand over to you, Franca. I've gone a little bit 11 minutes above our time. I'm sorry. I hand over to you to close off for us. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That was very
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very insightful.
Very insightful.
Thank you very
Thank you
much,
very much,
Mr. Sheyi
Mr.
and Bosun.
Sheyi and Boston. I appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Please,
Yeah.
if you have any
Do you
questions,
have
could
any
you drop it
questions?
on the
Could
chat?
you drop it on the chat?
I think there is an
I
echo
think
there.
there is an echo there. I don't know. Okay. Maybe it's from.
Yeah.
Is it down? Is it okay now? Is there still
Okay.
echo?
Yes. It's
Okay.
okay. Yes. No. No more. It's
No,
okay
no
now.
more. It's okay
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Okay.
Um.
Okay. Um.
Sheyi and Bosun's
So you
topic
can also
is
stop
creating or reactive
creating a reactive
agent
using
using Azure AI Farm. Azure AI Farm.
told us what Azure is, which is a cloud
What
offering.
Azure is, which is
I
a
talked
cloud
about
offering. I talked about
infrastructure as a service,
infrastructure as a
platform as a
service,
service,
platform as a
software as a
service,
service.
software as a service.
He also talked about
Introduced us to AI
introduced us
Foundry.
to AI
It does
Foundry.
a video.
It does a video.
This was
Simplifying
AI
simplifying
development,
AI development,
moving never sprints,
moving never sprints,
confidence
and
building AI
confidence building
solutions and
AI
strategy.
solutions and strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also
He
told us what
also told us what
agentic is.
agentic is. That's AI that
That's
acts
AI
on
that
its own,
acts on its own,
learns
data and
learns through
improves,
data and improves
and makes smart decisions
smart
without
decisions without
human help.
constant human help.
That's
That's
agentic for you.
organic for you.
And he
And
also
he
talked
also
about
talked
exploring
about agentic.
so agents will
Agents
helps
with helps
instill
instill
and help
and help
issues,
issues, time management,
employee health,
employee
and
health,
vacation
and
benefits.
vacation benefits.
He also talked about
He
the
also talked about
benefits,
the
which
benefits,
are increase in
increase
efficiency,
in efficiency,
enhances decision
enhances
making,
decision making,
and
and
reduced manual
reduced manual um,
intervention.
intervention.
And there was this case
And there
study.
was this
Actually, I
case
was
study.
also
Actually, I was
looking
also
see
looking
how it works,
see how it
and it's a
works.
good thing. It
And
works.
it's a good thing it works.
Very
Very
insightful.
insightful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So now you
Yeah.
can have
So now you
how
can
many
have
units of
how
product
many units
you
of
have in
product
stock.
you have in stock.
Yeah, with the AI
Yeah.
Foundry.
With the AI Foundry.
What the case study. You
Study.
can come up with
You can come
solutions
up
like
with
that.
solutions like that.
Thank you very much. We
Thank you very
appreciate
much. We
you,
appreciate you,
Mr. Sheyi
Mr. Sheyi and
Bosun.
and we say
The
the
the global Azure
the
conference
global
is still
Azure
on.
conference is still on.
And please stay
And
tuned.
please stay tuned.
It's global, so you can if
Global,
you
so
go
you
to the
can if you go to the
I'm sure you will see other
I'm sure you will
people,
see
other
other
country.
people, other country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can
Okay.
watch them, and
You
you can
can watch
also
them, and
watch
you can also watch
online.
this online.
We'll drop the link.
We'll drop the link.
Anyways, on YouTube.
Anyways, on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it.
Okay, it was nice having you
Okay, it was
all
nice having you all
with us.
You all have a
Lovely
you all have
weekend.
a lovely weekend.
Mr. Shayi, you want to say anything to close?
No, at least we have seen a lot of things, a lot of innovation coming in the AI space. And from what our speakers has mentioned, from how you can innovate, transform your company, how you can use data and place it on Azure. We also saw what the AI is doing with agentic and what a lot of things that we can achieve. From our team here in Lagos, so thank you for being part of the Global AI, and we hope to see you when we have next.
Okay. Thank you. And bye-bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. We say a very big thank you to all the presenters.
Hello, I'm David Okeode, Fistball instructor at Kavis Cloud, 4 times Microsoft MVP, and author of multiple books on cloud security. I would like to speak with you about our courses at Kavis Cloud. First, we are cloud security focused. We maintain an unbiased stance towards vendors, and we cut through all the typical marketing jargon in many trainings out there. We help you to understand things as they really are. The second thing that's unique about our courses is that we are multi-cloud focused. Our multi-cloud security courses covers the top 3 public cloud platforms out there: AWS, Azure, and GCP. Our instructors are not just trainers, they are seasoned professionals with real-world experience. The third reason is that our training modules are designed to provide practical hands-on experience. Our courses are packed full of hands-on labs that you find engaging and interesting. And finally, our prices are the best out there. I encourage you to check out our upcoming courses on our website and also testimonials from our students. See you soon at www.kaviscloud.com.
You have a learning goal, and we have just one job to help you achieve it and deliver at your convenience. Learning right starts with us at Azure Academy. We are a learning institute in partnership with professional industry bodies like Microsoft, PECB, Pearsonville, and PSI, delivering quality training, ensuring your certification path in respective industries. Azure Academy has training specialists with extensive consulting experience as well as the expertise to address your specific needs and preferences. Our goal is to deliver training that maximizes return on people and infrastructure investments. We define success as having the right resources to skill you up to help you meet your desired goals. Our job at Azure Academy is to empower you to be successful at every stage of the learning journey, from training to certification to establishing professional credibility. As a certified learning partner and authorized testing center, our facility has proven to be one of the best in the country as we get to reach the needs of all ages, young, middle-aged, and those in the advancing years, making learning simple and affordable. We care about your skill development, and without breaking the bank, we present you with great opportunities to showcase your competency and expertise in your area of specialty, aiding career advancement or personal goals tracking. Let's help you bridge that learning gap. All you have to do is take the next step to enroll in our courses today with prices that are easy on your wallets. Request access to our training calendar by emailing training@ashem.com, and you can also get the most of your learning investment by checking out our promotional offers here: offers.ashem.com/ms learning. you can call 0704-636-7151 or call 0704-576-9927. You can visit our head office at number 9 Ipikule Street off Abad Macaulay Way, Yaba, Lagos State.
ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú. Ó wá sáyé kò ṣẹ̀wọ̀n.
Ó yá akéde mo fẹ́ délé bàbá tó bí lọ́mọ.
Ọmọ ọba ni kò ṣẹrú.
Bàbá àgbà ògbànigbà ní ojú àná ó ṣe gbámú. Kò sán gírí lágírí ọ̀làgírí kàkà. Àkọ́kọ́ arẹ́rẹ́ o. Bàbá mi ò wá kẹ́bẹ̀rẹ̀ jù jọ.